Hey, what's up? Hey, do you guys like Beat Saber? What controller do you guys use? I like the DualShock or the Move. Actually, you know what? I like the baton. I like the spoon. I like the cat. It's pretty soft. It's pretty good for scaring other cats. Rah. I also like the crossbow. I use that. Let's test it on the Seraphim dummy. Not powerful enough. What about this? It's pretty sharp. Not sharp enough. Maybe this. No, that's blunt. We need something more powerful. What about this? Lightsaber. Yeah, this will work. Alright, let's test it out on the Seraphim dummy. Here we go. Beat Saber. Whoa. That cut through like butter. Holy crap. Okay, that's dangerous. I'm gonna put that one down. This is Viewer Takeover, and I'm Seraphim190. This is my cat. If you're a game cat, you're forgetting your lessons. No. Drink it out of the glass, please.
This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every Tuesday and bring it to YouTube Live as PSVR Gamescast Live, and then we film pre-recorded every Wednesday. Hey, pre-recorded, that's a word.
There you go.
Every today is Viewer Takeover, when we let you, the loyal game cats, let you take over the show.
So close.
As always, my name's Brian Paul, and to my right, your middle, it's something wicked. This way it comes. It's Ezra.
Hello.
And then to my far right, your left, Sofa King himself, it's Jeremy King.
Hello. Yes, very
Right.
precise.
I'm very clever.
Yes.
Today. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So every week on Viewer Takeover, we like to dive into the comments. We search for hashtag Viewer Takeover.
It's a thing.
And then we copy all of your questions into a Word document that changes all of our periods to question marks. And then we read them that way because we think it's funny. Before we get into that, there's a few people we want to thank this week.
Yes.
Who?
These people.
These people?
These people down here.
Down here.
These are the people who went to patreon.com/withoutparole
Games.
and are giving us $1 or more every single month.
Do we both point at your face, it seems?
Yeah, I know.
You should just do a nice little
Was that-
smile like a Teletubby and
Was I supposed to do something there?
I don't know. and for their $1 or more every single week, not only do they get their name on this illustrious list down here,
Yep.
but what else do they get, Jeremy?
Far more than they get for $1 under the boardwalk, right? So if they go on over to Patreon/without parole, no games.
Games.
With games? Yeah, games. All
It's
right.
first day every day.
Every day. Well, you know. And you get to see the little episodic things we call the litter box.
Litter box.
Where,
They're full of poop.
yeah, it's now it's more conversational for X amount of time.
We had a good one this week. I really enjoyed our conversation about the
Yes.
hypothetical PlayStation 2 Classic.
Is that up live?
It is
Or
up live.
live.
It's live up.
Pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded.
I liked it because I wasn't there.
It was enjoyable.
And then you also get like one thing or two things in MP3 format
I
now.
don't know.
It's something.
We're going to
It's
take a
different.
poll and see if anyone cares about MP3s because they take too long and no one seems to care.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think those days have passed. They like to view it while they drive.
But besides the loyalists of the loyalists,
No.
the fluffiest of the fluffy, we also want to thank a few people that followed Beauty and the Decay's lead, aka Matt the Game Cat,
Yeah.
and changed their name on YouTube, on Google, on something, to something the Game Cat.
Yeah,
Right?
It just still blows me why people do this.
I know,
It
right?
blows my mind every single time.
If you should tattoo every one on your back like a family tree, except
don't
it's a
do
litter
that.
box, and every piece of litter is actually a game cat.
Awful.
Yeah,
Sounds terrible.
it would be a terrible
A
tattoo.
new tattoo would be nice, but
Not like that.
No.
No.
So these are the people who changed their name to something the Game Cat. And so if you changed your name to Game Cat to show your allegiance to this channel, well, make sure you put hashtag Game Cat, all one word, in the comments below so we can give you a shout out next week.
Yep.
Next week. But this week we have
This week.
Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry.
Hey.
Formerly Sci-Fi Guy Henry.
Yes.
A dramatic change.
It's an on-brand change.
That's
Well
right. We also have Neo the Game Cat.
done. Is the one.
All one word.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we...
Technically not the one.
And then,
No, I know. You know how old I was before I realized that Neo is just an anagram of one?
Yeah. I was 40.
You know how old I was? 39. Just heard
Yeah.
about it just now.
Yep.
Yeah, that was ridiculous because you know what? I also don't care.
Yeah.
And then finally, getting his weekly shout out for changing his
Yes.
name weekly is Hot Cakes.
Yep.
So you guys can get like a warning from Google saying, "I'm sorry, you've changed your name too often."
right? I think he is the owner of Google.
He must be.
Up that Patreon, dude.
Hashtag GameCat or variations thereof.
Yeah.
Bing.
Nice. He's got it.
All right, guys, let's dive into viewer takeover since we're running late as always. First question comes from Ivan Caldera on the In-Depth PlayStation VR review. Good job, by the way. That was an excellent review.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it was a good review.
But this question is a little bit geared toward you. Ivan writes, I really think part of a good review is giving a rating number from 1 to 10. What do you give this one? A 7?
Well, by our rating scale, I give it a 1. But
That's not. That's not our rating scale. Our review discussion.
Yes.
I think people forget all the time that just because we say 1, 2, or 3,
right.
those aren't numerical scores.
Yeah.
Those are just 3 possible conclusions you can come to after playing a game.
And this is a discussion that we had kind of once I started getting involved, and I don't want to go as big as saying it's a philosophy, but I kind of don't like the arbitrary 4 out of 5, 7 out of 10, or there are some game review sites that shall remain nameless who do like 7 out of 10 for this, and they average it out to like 85.3. It's like that's
averaging is stupid.
That's meaningless. Okay, was it a good game? Did I enjoy it? That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. Is it worth my money? Is it worth my time? So, I mean, to answer your question, since you asked me a direct question, I would say I'm arbitrarily going to say 8. I don't know. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is if you like roguelike games that kick your ass on a regular basis, then you're going to like this game.
Yeah, I think I liked it even more than you did. I say, if we're going to give this thing a score, like an actual, arbitrary score, my views tend to fall more in line with, what people give 9s.
Okay.
Because I love In-Depth. I think, for what it lacks in story and really anything outside of gameplay, it makes up for in gameplay.
It is, it is pure gameplay. So I mean, and if that's your jam, man, this is gonna scratch that itch.
I keep going back to Spelunky on the Vita. That's you'll find me at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep, laying in bed playing Spelunky.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, it's such an addiction, and it's the same thing. It's very, very similar to. I was just gonna say affected. In-Depth.
I would say if it was slightly more convenient for me to play my PSVR, this would definitely be I got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice. But this is also the kind of I want to bring this up as a topic. What do you guys think about numerical scores? About saying, hey, you know what? We want to give people everything that they want when it comes to our reviews, right? I feel like we already give them very well written reviews, well thought out reviews. We don't play a game for 5 minutes and review it. We play the crap out of a game, and so I feel like we come across very informed, whether we are or not. And then we also do the review summary at the end, which people ask for. We tell them what kind of controllers are able to be used. Give them the price point. We give them everything they need to know.
Yeah.
So what's the is there a downside to saying, okay, well, some people want numbers, let's give them a number?
Numbers are weird because it's all personal based. My number is different than your number. My scale is different than your scale.
But if we had we're not just going to start throwing an arbitrary number out.
Yeah.
We're going to say, hey, this is without Pearl's scale.
Yeah.
And let's use it to its full advantage.
Yeah, well, that's why I like the 1, 2, 3, because the people who are, and this is a mass generalization, people who are so up about, it's got to have a number, are the same people who say, hey, you said this was an 8, but this one's a 9, but then you said you like this one better. I'm like, do I have to sit there and remember every rating I gave to every game to be consistent? Because, again, it's not consistent. I could play this game in one mood and rate it like this.
Yeah.
So personally, I like more actionable ratings. And the thing is, too, it's like, okay, you watch the review, Jeremy does a review, I do a review. You've kind of known who we are as reviewers, so it's like, Des gave this, Des likes this, Brian didn't. And I think that's more useful information than, without Parole, this is a 7.5.
But if the three of us sat down and we said, here's our 0 to 10 scale, and we all agree on what the numbers mean, and we say, listen, it doesn't, you can't start comparing apples to oranges. You can't say, hey, In-Depth is an 8, and Headmaster is a 7, because Headmaster came out 2 years ago. We're reviewing games currently. We're reviewing games for right now. Like today, this number means something, but tomorrow when Borderlands comes out, not tomorrow technically, but metaphorically speaking, it might mean something different.
Yeah.
Right? Because maybe the bar's been raised.
Yeah.
So my question is can we assign a number without detracting from what we're already giving in the video?
I don't think so. I feel like a number makes it too solidified, putting the nail in the coffin. 8.
Yeah.
Whereas you're saying, and you're walking through and explaining as you show clips of the game, you know, this and that. I enjoyed this. This gave me issues. The controls are like this. The story's like this. It has good control, and then you give the breakdown of the summary. So it's not pigeonholing people to, or your review, and people saying you said that was an 8.
Yeah.
It's more like, well, no, you said the smooth turning is nice. It uses both controllers. It gives you good head, you know, movements, and tracking is
Gives
good.
you
But the
good
gameplay gives you a head. Yeah, that's a new VR game.
Right.
But not headmaster, head giver.
I need some time alone.
But I like the summary, because back in the days of actually reading reviews, you'd scroll through and you look for the 8 and you look for the 3, see what the pros and the cons were in those kind of reviews, and base it, did you want to buy it? But when you see a summary and a breakdown, it's leaving it up to me still. It's saying, this is how you enjoyed it, this is what you found was good and bad.
Yeah.
Now the rest of it's up to me if I'm personally going to enjoy it.
So, I was going to say, so in your history as a past retailer, did anyone ever come in and say, I want to see all the games that were rated 8 and higher from this magazine?
No, but they'll come in and be like, I wasn't thinking of getting that game, but blankety blank said it was a 9, so I want to buy it. That definitely happens.
I just want to remind people that, like, you know, we have ideas. We think a certain way, but we're always open to suggestions.
Yeah.
You know, when people suggest something, you know, the summary screen was a suggestion.
A newer thing,
and I was
too,
like, really?
in
I'm like,
general.
you just watched an entire 4-minute review and you've already forgotten?
Well, there's some people who just fast forward to the end and
Sure. But I think it is, like, once I started seeing it, I was like, oh, it does kind of put a nice cap at the end of the reviews. And so that
nice
was a suggestion. We followed it, and everyone's real happy with it.
If anybody's been on board with this channel at any point, even in the last year, forget about the last 3 years, they would see how constantly ever evolving and how far different it is from just even a year ago or 2 years by far.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
All right.
now we're tolerable.
I thought you were going to say taller, but I was going to say no, I'm not.
Debatable is what that is. All right, Europe, Asia.
Okay, from Haplo784 on PSVR this week. Hashtag viewer takeover, it's a thing. Do you still pre-order games? After Bravo Team, I'll only pre-order if there's a discount. I don't want to get burned again. I don't personally. I have never pre-ordered a game. I don't. Yeah, I really don't. I don't agree with the entire practice, honestly. I think the game manufacturer should put out what they're ready to put out there, and yeah, I don't know. I think we was it a litter box? We kind of went down like all the bonuses on pre-orders. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago. We had a discussion about this. So,
Oh, for real?
Yeah. And
I don't remember.
Really, I don't do the pre-order thing because, like you said, you get burned too often. You know, let people like us take the hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, for me, I say, I mean, don't pre-order a game if you're like, oh, I'm shaky on this, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's a game that looks good.
Yeah.
But you know, I should. But if you're like, I don't know if I'm really gonna love this.
Yeah.
You know, I think pre-orders are fine if you're like, you know, for me, if it's a scary game, I'm gonna play it no matter what.
Yeah.
And I want to play it as soon as possible, no matter what.
Yeah.
So I'll pre-order it, and then, like, even if it gets bad reviews, I'm gonna be like, well, I was gonna play this anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't bother me in the slightest if it gets bad reviews because I was gonna play it either way, and I'm gonna play it immediately at midnight when it launches on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
But so that's the kind of thing you have to ask yourself. It's like, well, should, like, we all kind of questioned Bravo Team. We know it wasn't like we went into Bravo Team going, this might be good. No, like, very, very few people were like, this is going to be any good. We kind of knew ahead of time.
Well, I mean, I've pre-ordered games, you know. That's how we've met, Brian, way back in the day. But I used to pre-order because it was like a game I knew I wanted, and I just, you know, put money on it, knowing I would get it eventually. It was more the allure at a time of the physical bonuses you'd get.
Right.
Like a nice art book.
Yeah.
We're talking, you know, PS2 days. Remember, you'd pre-order something and you'd get something nice. Or a Nintendo game, they'd give you those art books, hardcover ones. They don't do that anymore.
Now you have to get the collector's edition for like an
To
extra
do that.
$20. Yeah.
I think this.
I'm sorry. The pre-orders are more just a way, obviously, for them to gauge how many people are interested in their games. But I feel like it's changed, and now it's pre-orders and, you know, things they'll give you when you buy the game is just more of a like, come on, buy our game. Come on, buy a game. And I don't like that practice. I don't like to get and receive extra over a person that bought it a couple weeks later. I don't care that that's a thing.
Yeah.
But I don't like how it definitely is a tactic now to get the purchase to follow through.
I think that's where we kind of came down on. It was like, if you have like the collector mentality and like, oh no, I want everything to do with this, every version of it, then fine. Like this is like, we're not judging, we're not saying you're bad for doing that. Mm-hmm. But for me personally, none of that really appeals to me anymore.
Yeah.
I've got enough crap in my house. But so yeah, the pre-order thing. And honestly, as I've said many times before PlayStation VR came out, I was the person who was deliberately a generation or two behind anyways to save money.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I pre-ordered Red Dead in May. I didn't even install pre-order bonus or whatever came. I didn't even do it,
Yeah, there's like fruit flies around here, so weirdness.
They came with me. I'll take them back home.
No, absolutely not. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Rhodey the Game Cat from PSVR this week. Prison Boss. He was laughing there. Well, at least it's different. Beginning to wonder if cell shading is less taxing on the system. Seem to be a number of cell-shaded VR games coming. And then again, #viewer takeover, discussion on the merits of cell shading. Thanks, guys.
You don't even use the mic. It's like sometimes you use the mic, and sometimes you're like, I'm just going to talk over here.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
So
don't worry about the guy doing the fucking audio levels over here. You just do whatever makes you happy.
And this week...
So I mean, cell shading's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
I think pretty much since the PS2 era.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I thought it was pretty well known that cell shading is less graphically taxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in a system like the VR, where you do have so many hardware constraints, that's a great way to get a lot of really dynamic motion and action and things like that, and a certain level of detail, but still not be as taxing. So, we see a lot of it, and I think we will continue.
Yeah.
That being said, please bring every single cel-shaded game ever made to PlayStation VR.
I want 13.
13. I don't know
how that's going to work in VR, but I want it.
Yeah,
as long as David Duchovny does the voice,
it was sort of first-person shooter,
David
right?
And 13, yeah.
Oh, it was.
And Area 51 too, right?
Oh.
No.
God, no.
Such a great game.
That was Midway.
Yeah.
That was
Wait, do I still have that?
What do you have?
Oh no.
What?
13. Oh my gosh, I think I let my nephew borrow it like 10 years ago.
Oh shit. He's now 32.
The great thing about cel-shaded graphics are that not only do they look good, but also, I mean, would we call Job Simulator cel-shaded?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's flash shaded. Yeah, I mean,
these are the kind of things like Zelda games and stuff, Wind Waker. They've really stood the test of time.
Yeah,
we're in like an age where, and I think we can add PlayStation VR to the list of an age where 3D graphics really aren't up to where they should be.
Yeah,
I think those are the games that are gonna age better, and anything we see in the first generation of PlayStation VR is certainly going to look a lot better next generation than say something like even Resident Evil 7 that looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
we're gonna look back at it in a couple of years and go, "Ooh, we thought this was good."
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I mean, I think I've come down pretty hard on the side of like I don't really care about graphical fidelity as long as the core gameplay is good. Yeah. And I mean, it seems like we're turning to the top podcast, but that is my shining example right now. Graphically, but I'd be hard pressed to find a more fun game on the console right now.
Very true. Next up, me. Void Citizen. Void Citizen wrote on the Breaking News Report. This is the one where we talked about In Death getting smooth turning.
Oh, yes.
Writes, honestly, I think developers are just holding back smooth turning so they can release it later. And have people be like, they're such good developers. I love developers. Wow, they listened. Hats off. And some shit like that. That should have been there to begin with.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, if it was like this crazy thing where like it took weeks and weeks and weeks to get smooth turning implemented, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? This guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but I think there's something here because it's literally days after the game comes
constant,
out.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long has this game been in development and you weren't able to implement smooth turning till 3 days after it came out?
It's like somebody came home late to work that day and they're like, oh shit, I didn't start the download for smooth turning. Just release it. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question. I mean, we do have some devs who kind of watch sort of in the background. Yeah. Honest question. Is it harder? Like, I will be the first to admit, I don't know. I have not taken a single game development class. I've never tried to develop a game. I've never tried to. So, is it? I mean, maybe we're all speaking out of ignorance. Or maybe it is a little cynical, just like, oh, here's a toy we can throw at him.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Obviously,
what if it's a certification thing? What if it's easy to get click turning certification? Then you got the game in there. Then you can add the smooth turning.
I'm betting that is it. I'm betting 100% that that Sony will allow you to push through a game with click turning, and then. But if it has smooth turning, then there's some other.
Yeah, maybe it's something with the click turning, the loading, and that frame rate doesn't drop as drastic when you swipe.
But they allow the patch to go through easier than the whole certification process.
Yeah.
It's totally possible, and I think that makes more sense than anything.
Yeah, just thinking about what it's doing. Yeah, quick turn is frame, and there's no additional power. But smooth turn is you're basically animated that.
Yeah. What gets me is
we solved it.
What gets done. And again, I'd love to hear from developers. So Reggie, if you're watching,
developer.
So people have said before, like the reason people have speculated that the reason Durasne didn't have full locomotion was because the graphics were really intense and it wouldn't be able to render all of that.
Yeah.
But but what I'm thinking is if I can turn my head completely and do this all the time, and that's basically smooth turning.
But it's different.
Is it?
Yes, because
it's still rendering the same thing.
But if you're moving around, so I'm positioned here, and everything's rendered, and I'm just changing my point of view here.
So you already think
if
the field
I'm
of view is
moving
loaded.
past a three-dimensional object, it has to change how the game is, how that is rendered in 3 space on the fly.
As well as in rendering
I'm stationary,
others, right?
Everything's rendered, and I'm just moving around looking at the things that are going. As I'm moving, it's got to re-render the entire scene to take into account my point of view changing, I believe.
Which is fine for full locomotion, but not for smooth turning. Smooth turning, that doesn't change anything.
Right, smooth turning, you're still, but I think there are 3 levels of difficulty here. Quick turning to smooth turning, a jump in difficulty, smooth turning to full locomotion, you're talking huge.
Yeah.
That's why they can, and I've seen this, they've done scenes like Toy Story, where they can re-render and do the whole movie from a different point of view in the scene. They just have to re-render the whole thing. Which is
trust me, when I did 3D design in college, holy crap, man! And even rendering one episode of Why We Love PSVR takes 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so and that's
not a real apartment.
Yeah, right. People are like, I just realized it's green screen. I'm like, really?
Yep.
And this is where we film everything.
The fact that my right arm disappears on a weekly basis.
Yeah, seriously. All right, and finally, you're up, Asia.
Oh, Woody the Bluebird.
Bam.
From PSVR this week.
Bam.
Viewer Takeover, hashtag Viewer Takeover. I'm really enjoying seeing the channel grow. Thank you. With more and more content and subscribers to go with it. If you had unlimited financial resources, what would you do to take the channel to the next level?
Take over the world.
Yeah, that is
unlimited resources.
Yeah, no, I'd take a vacation.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't give us money because the first thing that'll happen is the content will stop for 2 weeks.
No,
it'd be like when you see Beetlejuice wearing the Hawaiian shirt. Hey,
No,
hey guys.
With unlimited financial resources, everyone gets paid. And that means Dez doesn't have to work 3 other jobs. He finally abandons his wife and kids, and then gives all of his time
not
to
so much of
the
that.
channel. Hey, who's in charge around here?
His money, make it happen.
And so the great thing about that is that even I'd be able to take a day off, and you'd still have content coming in. You'd get a breaking news report, you'd get a review, you'd get stuff happening because Des would be doing stuff from Studio B, and there would just be a constant influx of content every single day. Like I would be happy. I'll be happy when we get to the point where there are literally 2 videos scheduled every single day. One early morning and one in late afternoon.
And the live news show every morning.
Right, that's always been kind of a thing to talk about.
Yeah, Monday to Thursday or Monday to Friday, kind of like daily. Daily Gamescast Live, basically.
And that's the thing, like right now, to pull behind the curtain, although we've been open about this, like Brian does all the technical stuff. Yeah. Like we show up and we talk and we have fun, play games and whatnot, but like the video editing, all the getting everything out there, it's just him. So if we had
I scripted this whole show.
Where
you guys are reading off a teleprompter.
No, I'm terrible at improvising. So this is word for word. There's a prompter right there.
Yeah.
Stop reading this.
I make my lines seem so natural.
But the reality is, like, if we had the financial freedom to do that, Brian could offload some of that. Like, the only reason I don't do the video editing work is I don't have the hardware at home, but also I just don't have the time.
Yeah. And if you were getting paid, you'd make the time.
Right. Well, I wouldn't. Those things that I do to get money, I wouldn't have to do anymore. So I would dedicate to this.
And I would studio.
Yeah, This is
Hey kids, we're painting your bedrooms green.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't realize where we're filming in the ghetto of Worcester, Massachusetts, also known as my bedroom. And now this used to be a bedroom, but now my bed is in my living room.
It's a Murphy bed. It's actually behind those bureaus.
And so I live in an extremely small, like 450 square foot apartment, and this studio takes up a significant part of that.
I'd say 25% of the space in his apartment is.
I want to say more. I want to say like 30.
It's about 32, 34.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly. All right. Well, so that's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff from Without Parole. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Viewer Takeover.
Yeah.
If you want your Viewer Takeover questions read, make sure you submit it in the comments below with hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word, so I can find it when I search. Also, hey, you know what? I totally forgot at the beginning of the show. I want to give a shout out to Seraphim190 for that awesome Viewer Takeover introduction.
Oh, right.
Dude, you are the man. I'm so sorry we didn't thank you right off the bat. But also, if you want to introduce next week's Viewer Takeover, not you, Seraphim, but everyone else that's watching.
I love his.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
Seraphim's.
He's got to fly out from Australia if we ever do
Seriously.
that convention thingy.
In a wingsuit.
Anything. I don't care what he shows up in. He's had outfits.
Clothes would be preferable.
Some clothes.
But if you guys want to introduce next week's Viewer Takeover, make sure you send your Viewer Takeover introduction to withoutparole@gmail.com. Make it short, make it sweet, make it sexy. Not too sexy. Keep most of your clothes on. And if it doesn't fit in our inbox, as Jeremy says, consider yourself lucky.
Very.
All right, for another episode of Viewer Takeover, I'm Brian Paul, that's Desra, and that is Jeremy King, and we will see you yesterday.
Yesterday.
PlayStation VR podcast, Gamescast Live. We love you all.
Princess Wave.
That's Princess Wave. I thought it was this.
Well, that's the royalty. No, this is the Disney Princess Wave. You wipe the window.
That's
And then there's a spot there.
What was that?
There.
Oh, you missed that.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is so dainty.